Today, I want to talk about the best epic for Corrosion. We have quite a few new heroes that were added in Season 3, and we finally get to test every single one of them and see what exactly we can expect from them. And I want to spotlight this specific epic hero because he's really, really powerful. Now, this video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, so I just want to say a big thank you to them for continuing to support our channel. And if you guys are new to the channel or you haven't tried Dragonheir Silent Gods or you want to help and support the channel, you can download the game by using my link in the description down below or in the pinned comment or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. Talking about the new heroes that were added in Season 3. Let's head over straight to the poison element. We have a brand new damage architecture, the school of damage, however you guys like to call them, and that is Corrosion. Now we have 3 awesome legendaries. I managed to summon the exclusive. I don't really have the enablers, so because of it, I had to kind of like rely on the epics. We have Gegnu, which is the new Corrosion epic. We have Dragonheir, and we have, of course, Dargo. Now, Dragonheir is one of those epics that is not really an enabler, right? Like, he's going to deal damage, basically with the ultimate skill and additional damage to enemies under Corrosion, but he will not inflict Corrosion damage to the target. So this doesn't really make him that amazing for bosses, in my opinion. Now, he can smack with this skill. If you manage to set him up, 1000% damage is going to be pretty nice. Today, I want to talk about Gegnu. He's one of the enablers, right? And of course, we have Dargo. Gegnu, he has this passive, inflicts 15% attack corrosion to the attacker when taking damage, and also increases corrosion inflicted to enemies around the hero by 15%. With the battle skill, he will attack, he will convert 40% of the damage into corrosion. With the ultimate skill, strikes enemies within range 3 times, and of course, he will stack 40% of the damage into corrosion. This sounds pretty nice, especially that passive, right? It makes you feel like, okay, he's definitely going to put in some work. Then we have Dargo right here. He has attack aura for Series of Trials. The passive, when using a skill against enemies whose current corrosion is less than 30% of their max HP, the corrosion effect inflicted by the skill will be increased by 30%, which is actually very nice. Then you have the battle skill, deals 400 attack damage to enemy with the currently highest corrosion and converts 50% of the damage dealt to corrosion. So again, he enables you quite a bit. Summons 5 orbs to strike random enemies in turn. Enemies without corrosion will be attacked first, and each strike deals 200% attack damage and converts 50% of the damage dealt to corrosion. Now, honestly, on paper, Gegnu sounds pretty damn good, right? Dargo the same, but Gegnu, for whatever reason, might sound a bit more interesting. I don't think he's better, right? So the main epic from here that I kind of like want to point out is Dargo, guys. He's actually very solid. So if you have him, definitely use him. Now, the main thing is you need to have some legendaries to pair with Corrosion if you really want to bring in some damage. Either you have a Rook, either you have Whisk, either, of course, you have Sacridia, which she is amazing. Now, I've tested before teams. We've done it live on stream. I've tested teams without Rook and Sacridia. The damage was not amazing. We managed to get the top chest on the 4th difficulty, but we were not doing anything crazy, anything out of the ordinary, you know? So if you are in Season 3, you might want to consider using either a wild team. If you have that available, it might be a bit easier for you to set it up with Radiance if you don't have any of the big boy legendary characters. Right now, this is, of course, difficulty 3. That's what I have available on my server. But I want to show you what we can expect from each one of these 2 epics. So we're going to use them in the exact same gear, in the exact same team. So we're going to be able to kind of like draw a conclusion and see which one is better, if you should use them. And if you don't have Rook, yes, pairing the epics together will really not give you a good result. And Ice Blast and pretty much every other form of damage dealers will outperform them, you know. But as usual, you know, we've done this in Season 2. We've tested every single epic. We've done quite a few different videos spotlighting the epic heroes to see what they're made of, how impactful they are. And we're going to do this for the Season 3 heroes as well. Now, the way we have this team set up, basically, guys, we have a bit of a presetting here, but I'm going to show it to you in just a second. And we have the enabler, the epic hero, going first, regardless who that might be. And then we have Rook going in with his ultimate. The more corrosion we have on the enemy, the more damage Rook will deal with his ultimate skill. We have 3 support heroes in here. We have, of course, Fredbar, the tank, healing, decrease attack. He's going to put the defense down. That's one of the main issues that I have with this team for the moment, is having a better reliable defense down character. I could use the defense down artifact on the epic heroes, but I feel like that will not really allow me to put in a lot of damage with them, to transform a lot of corrosion on the boss, you know, so that will ultimately reduce my damage. Then we have Rita. She's going to cleanse on the next difficulty. On this difficulty, she's basically giving us increased defense, more decreased attack, and she's extending the duration of debuffs. So like this, we get to deal more damage. I've tried teams with 3 corrosion heroes and only 2 support. Unfortunately, those teams were really underperforming comparing them with the team that I'm using right now. So you need to have more support, especially if you don't have Unkillable, if you don't have Ogok or other crazy heroes that will enable you to do a lot of nasty things in here, you know. How you may notice, the damage difference in between Rook and the epic hero is quite big, right? It's more than double, and we basically need the epic hero to constantly stack up that corrosion for Rook. How you may notice all these numbers popping on the screen, right? Yellow, white ones, once Rook is using the ultimate. That's how often he's using actually the ultimate to deal damage, and it's not that insane. We're not really stacking a lot of corrosion, unfortunately. Now, I wish I would be able to see a green bar in here to kind of like have an idea for all of them. Sometimes you can, depending on what heroes you're using, but sometimes you cannot. So just kind of like try to keep an eye to see when he's using the skills. I'm not going to play you the entire run. I'm actually gonna let the next ultimate go so you guys can have a bit of an idea, and then we're gonna fast forward towards the end. So right there, we activated the ultimate on the epic. We stacked some corrosion, and now Rook is going in, and these are his numbers, right? We had them pop a little bit. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because you're going to see a massive difference when we're using the next hero, you know. But that's how this team works, guys. We're gonna fast forward at the end where we're gonna see the total damage, the final result. We're gonna see how long we survived. Hopefully the RNG will be pretty much on the same level, so we're not gonna die earlier or later in any of the runs, you know, because they do have the exact same gear, which I'm gonna show you in a second. So here we are, guys, stack 140, right? We're gonna stop it exactly at 12 minutes, more or less, and we're gonna see what damage we dealt like this. Fredbar died, so I'm gonna assume that it's going to work pretty much the same in the next run, or we might get lucky and he'll survive a bit longer. 19.4 million damage. Now, I'll be very honest, this damage is underwhelming. So if I'm bringing in Drago, the other epic, instead of Rita, for example, I'm going to deal more damage. So this just shows how weak overall is this specific epic character. So why I think you should not really invest in him unless you really don't have many other options. Now, maybe for the other world event, for Chaos Shadow bosses and stuff, it will be a bit better. We have 4.6 million damage, 23.7%. Now, the main trick in here, guys, with Corrosion, because it works a bit different from Ice Blast and the rest, right? There you have enablers as well, too. But here, this epic enables Rook. So Rook dealt 10 million damage, 55.2. Now, if I would have a better enabler, Rook will actually deal more damage. So let me just quickly show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's change the team. Let me show you what I have in terms of builds. So here they are. These are the artifacts that we're using. Yes, we are using the legendary artifact for Corrosion because I had a dupe Vicana, so I decided to purchase that. I have these gear sets on the character. I'm quickly going to show you, but it will be pretty much the exact same thing on the other team. And in terms of skill times, that's what we have on this. We need a bit of a gap in between the enabler and Rook to ensure that corrosion is stacking, because these are multi-hits. We want to make sure everything is spot on. Now, with this particular epic, you don't really need necessarily such a big gap. But when we are talking about the next one, you actually do. So right here, we're going to load the equipment to make sure we have the exact same things on this team too, on the Epic as well. So talking about the Dargo, this is the build as well. It's exactly the same thing we had on the previous one. They're both fully scrolled as well. So just in case if you're curious. And let's give it a go and see what we can expect with this team, because it's going to be a massive, massive difference, guys. Like, you'll be very surprised. So if you manage to summon a legendary from the Corrosion, right, and you have Dargo, definitely think of using them together. I feel like you won't be getting disappointed, even if they might not be the craziest heroes for the Vortex, unless you have Rook. They will be pretty effective against different bosses in the Chaos Shadow and the other world event later on, you know, so definitely keep them in the back of your mind. So I'm gonna let this run go for a little bit, and I'm gonna quickly point out something that I pointed out before as well. You can already notice that the damage is slowly stacking a bit better than before, right? Like, Dargo has this animation where it's just quickly throwing those orbs and slowly stacking up the damage. But if you're paying attention at all of those numbers popping on the screen when Rook is using his ultimate, you will notice that there are actually 2-3 times more numbers than before when we were using the other Epic, which means that we weren't really stacking a lot of Corrosion with that Epic character, even though it sounded so good on paper with the passive and everything else, right? So check the difference. Look at the difference. Like, it's constantly spraying those numbers, you know? Such a massive difference with Dargo. And when he's using the ultimate, all you see is a little number, and that's it. And he's constantly stacking that Corrosion. So it's a massive, massive difference. I just wanted to show you the difference, because if I wouldn't show you the difference, you won't really understand how good this Epic character is versus the rest of the Corrosion ones, you know? So I wanted to make sure we're having it very clear in here, so you guys know what to expect from them. The damage already is much better. You see the damage difference in between Rook and Dargo is not creating such a massive gap in between. So we are looking definitely pretty good. Look at those numbers. You see, constantly spraying them. What a massive, massive difference. But you've seen this. Let's quickly see the final result. So I'm gonna fast forward at the end of the run. Now look at that difference, guys. Third bar died exactly at the same moment. So I'm gonna let them use their ultimate once, and I'm going to basically stop the run. But look at the numbers. Look at them spraying right there. So it's a massive, massive difference compared to what we had before with the other Epic heroes. So Dargo is absolutely insane for these guys, and he's doing an amazing job. We literally got 50% more damage than in the previous run. We had 21 or 22. Right now we have 31 million damage. And check this out. We have Dargo with almost 10 million damage. That's how much damage Rook dealt in the very first team with the other Epic. And Rook with 18 million damage this time around. So Dargo, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely amazing. Definitely worth using if you have some Corrosion legendaries to go with him. Now, if you only have the Epic heroes available from the Corrosion, the other two that I showed you before, I really don't think that they will be performing very well. I feel like there are plenty of different options out there that will allow you to achieve better results in pretty much all the content in the game. So if you have Geknu, Gregrir, and Dargo, I don't think they're going to do a lot of crazy things, the three of them. But if you have Dargo and some other legendaries from here, I feel like you will be in a much better spot. That was all for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of Dargo? Thanks again to Dragonheir for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys want to join me in Dragonheir Silent Gods, you can download the game by using the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment, or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. That was all for the video. Peace.